You're listening to The Lyndia Grant Show. Think on these things with Lyndia Grant.
Well, good evening, Radio 1 listeners. Thank you for tuning in to the Lyndia Grant Show. I'm so happy you've joined us here on Radio 1 Spirit 1340 WYCB. We've been around for more than 40 years, and I'm so happy to have you here this beginning of the Memorial Day holiday weekend. Our special guest today, who is no stranger to this show, and I am so pleased to have the honorable former D.C. Council member, Frank Smith, who is the founder of the African American Civil War Memorial and Museum. We're going to talk to him about the upcoming Memorial Day celebration that he hosts every year. And he's going to talk about what's going on with the new museum that's coming. Welcome to the show, Dr. Smith. How are you?
Good evening, Lyndia. I'm always glad to be with you. Praise God.
All right. I'm glad to have you, too. I have to have you. I can't go to anybody else. You know that. There's other people I can ask, but I can't do it. All right. And we're going to go to Dr. Julianne Malvo. Dr. Julianne, how are you today? She's the president emeritus, one of the two emeritus presidents of Bennett College. She even has a building named in her honor there. She has her PhD in economics, and she's the president of Rainbow Push. Hello, Dr. Julianne. How are you?
I'm great and highly favored, Lyndia. It's a beautiful day here in L.A., and I'm not the president of Push. I'm the president of Push Excel.
Excel. I forgot to add that. Yes, I knew that didn't sound right when I said it. Push Excel. I know. Yes. I know you're on the board. You're on the board. Yes, indeed.
Thanks to my brother Frank Smith. I always enjoy and appreciate all the work that he's done to lift up our people in the Shaw area. Frank, greetings and salutations.
Well, greetings and salutations to you. I'm always blessed to be on with you too, sister. I know I'm going to get some pearls of wisdom when you start talking your politics.
Well, absolutely. And let's just get it on, because I want to go quickly so that Lyndia has enough time with you. Let's just start with these school shootings in Texas. 19 students, 2 teachers, and these idiots, namely Ted Cruz, they're talking about they don't want gun control. They don't want background checks. They want to arm school teachers. But there was 2 armed officers in that building who declined to go after that armed shooter. So giving people arms is not the answer. Doing background checks and gun control is. This is really just a challenge. I don't know how much, Lyndia, I know you and I, we both women of God, we've cried. First Buffalo and then this. We've had to cry. Just 2 babies, these children, and 2 courageous teachers who put their bodies on the line to protect their students. We have to, people, if you're listening, write your congressperson, write your senator, say enough is enough. Let's pass some laws. Let's restrict the ability for crazy people to get guns. This boy obviously was crazy. We don't know his backstory. But I'm not putting this on mental illness. I'm putting in our own complicity with this stuff. So on his 18th birthday, 2 days later, he went and got these guns, and 4 days later, he went and shot these people up.
Yeah.
Period. Now, this week, President Biden signed an executive order that is to advance effective, accountable policing and criminal justice to enhance, public trust and public safety. This is something that people have been, the George Floyd Act has stalled in the Senate, passed the House overwhelmingly, stalled in the Senate because of Joe Manchin and Christian Sinema. And Republicans, they don't want to have accountable policing. So finally, a year and a half into his term, President Biden has signed an executive order. It doesn't do everything it needs to do, but it's a step in the right direction. I applaud the president for what he's done but I would put a fire under his hind parts and say, you need to do a little bit more, brother. You need to do a little bit more. He is a creature of the Senate. To the extent that he does not twist arms, I'm disappointed in him. He knows those people. He knows the Mitch McConnells and the others. Mitch McConnell we're not going to count. But, he knows those Republicans who are on the edge. Twist their arms. Get them to do something right. Now, let's go to Georgia, and let's just smile. Of course, Stacey Abrams was unopposed in a Democratic race, and so that's a blessing. She will be heading up against Brian Kemp, who's the governor. This is a rematch. She lost to him 4 years ago by less than a percentage point. And, of course, we know that the Secretary of State and others had conspired against her, in addition to the fact that they knocked people off the rolls and did a number of things. Well, it's what they say, hey, it's going to be a showdown. So I want to commend and lift up our sisters like Natasha Brown and Melanie Campbell and the folks who are doing the work down there. The people need to turn out. Stacey Abrams could be the first black woman governor in our nation. Isn't that exciting? It's within the realm of possibility. Meanwhile, in Georgia, Reverend Raphael Warnock is up for re-election, and now the Republicans have chosen Herschel Walker, the little football player, to oppose him. So it'll be Herschel, who basically apparently played too much football and got hit upside the head too many times. But he will be facing off against Raphael Warnock. Again, this is going to be about turnout. The Republicans are going to put a lot of money in this. But even as they put money in this, we got to put our feet in it. And so that's the Georgia story. Now, here's what's interesting about Georgia. The orange orangutan, or the former president, tried to put his hand in the Kool-Aid, and it just did not work. He tried to get involved in a senatorial race, the gubernatorial race with Sonny Perdue, former senator, and Perdue looked pitiful compared to Kemp. Perdue had 24% of the vote, former senator, very popular. But what people all over the country are saying is, Trump, just go someplace, go to Mar-a-Lago and have a margarita, even if you don't drink. Just have one, do something. Because he keeps interfering, and his interference does not do well, quite frankly, for any number of people. And certainly what he did for Perdue is set him up for a throwdown. So there we have that. Now, the most exciting economic news for me, well, one of them is that the president is buzzing around the White House, is prepared to forgive $10,000 worth of student loan debt for anyone who owns student loans. It'll cost us about $220 billion, but I think it's worth it. We relieve some of this debt. I wish he would do it all across the board because, as you know, Lyndia, we've talked about it before, black women carry more debt than anybody else. But the $10,000 is a step in the right direction, and we're excited about that, excited about the fact that the president is paying attention. He's doing it again through executive order. He obviously studied under President Obama, and he's taking a page from the Obama playbook. If you can't get it through legislation, let's get it through executive order, and that's what he's done, and that's exciting. But at the same time, we still are facing this inflationary challenge. And, of course, many people are asking Federal Reserve Board Chairman Jerome Powell, asking him to slow his roll. He has committed to raising the interest rate half a point, at least twice more this year. Doing that will make everything more expensive for anybody who's trying to borrow money, buy a house, or do anything like that. He says that we've got to tamp down inflation, but many of us are concerned that tamping down inflation may well mean pushing us into recession. My advice to people is watch your pennies. Just watch your pennies. It's going to be a rocky road for the next 6 months, and just pay attention. But what we also need to say, I'm so happy that Lisa Cook is joining the Federal Reserve Board, and she'll be at the next meeting, and we'll be able to see the sister in action, and let's just smile about that and enjoy it. But at the same time, let us say that she's not going to be able to fix it. We need to make sure that President Biden sends clear messages about the economy. He must send clear messages about what is going on and how we begin to combat it. We got baby formula coming in here, just coming in. Praise the Lord. It's not enough, but it's something. The president has to be far more active than he has been. That's it for me this week, Lyndia. You and Frank have a great conversation.
All right. Thank you, Dr. Julian. Happy Memorial Day weekend to you.
Absolutely, and to you. Let's shout out our brothers and sisters who served.
All right. All right. You're listening to the Lyndia Grant Show. We're going to a commercial break, and when we come back, we will be talking to the Honorable SNCC, Dr. Frank Smith, the founder of the African American Civil War Memorial, but he served the citizens of the District of Columbia as our council member for 16 years. Back in a moment.
If it wasn't for my care coach at AmeriHealth, I probably wouldn't be so healthy right now. As a man, we don't get checkups or see a doctor regularly anyways. It's probably just a man thing because none of my partners go either. We know we should, but we just don't, and hope it works out.
So what changed for you?
AmeriHealth assigned me a care coach, somebody that gives one-on-one help, answer questions, explain things, and help set my appointments. She also helped me understand what having high blood pressure really means and ways to manage it so it doesn't kill me. It ain't nothing to play with. If you're a member of AmeriHealth, ask for a care coach. I'm glad I got mine.
At AmeriHealth, if you need a care coach, you can have one. Just call us at 1-877-759-6224 to get connected. 1-877-759-6224. This program is funded in part by the government of the District of Columbia Department of Healthcare Finance. Mayor Muriel Bowser.
Washington Informer religion columnist Lyndia Grant.
Ida B. Wells, born into enslavement, was a journalist and activist. An avid reader, she read through the entire Bible many times. Wells was once asked to leave the ladies' car and sit in the colored train. She refused and train officials pushed her. Ida B. Wells retaliated but was pushed off the train at the next stop. A crowd of whites applauded. She vowed to get even. 3 of her close friends were lynched for opening businesses that cut into profits of whites. Everything changed for Wells. She spoke out internationally against lynching of blacks for the rest of her life. Through her efforts, lynching in America nearly disappeared by the time of her death. An NAACP founder, we salute Ida B. Wells for Women's History Month.
Read more in the religion column of the Washington Informer, an award-winning African-American newspaper. We don't report crime or gossip, just positive news. Pick up the Washington Informer or visit us online at WashingtonInformer.com. Call 202-561-4100 for more information. Washington Informer religion columnist Lyndia Grant.
Rosa Parks refused to give up her seat on a segregated Montgomery bus. In lectures on brotherhood, Ms. Parks often said, "People always say that I didn't give up my seat because I was tired." But that wasn't true. I was not tired physically. I was not old. I was 42. No, the only tired I was tired of giving in. Driven out of Montgomery by harassment and death threats, Detroit, Michigan became her new home. Rosa Parks will always be remembered as the mother of the civil rights movement. Raised in the AME church, she once said, "I remember finding such comfort and peace while reading the Bible."
Read more in the religion column of the Washington Informer, an award-winning African-American newspaper. We don't report crime or gossip, just positive news. Pick up the Washington Informer or visit us online at WashingtonInformer.com. Call 202-561-4100 for more information.
Well, we are back. That second Informer commercial was supposed to be in your commercial, Dr. Frank Smith. I don't know what happened. We've been playing it every week, and here you are on the show, but that was not your commercial. So I just want to welcome everybody to the show. This is the Honorable Frank Smith, council member, founder of the African American Civil War Memorial and Museum. He is an original SNCC member. And I love that I took that photograph from Ben's Chili Bowl where he and another SNCC member, the Honorable former Congressman Walter Fauntroy, was doing an interview at Ben's Chili Bowl. So I want to welcome him because not only is he SNCC, he is the founder of the African American Civil War Memorial. and he's got a lot of exciting news. So I'm not going to take up much time. I want to give you time today, Dr. Smith, to tell us what's been going on and what you have planned for Memorial Day and about the new museum.
Okay. Well, first of all, Lyndia, let me just say thank you so much for all you do in publication, in the Washington Informer, and on your radio program, and for all of the personal things that you do for young people in our area and in your church and various other things. You are a true Renaissance woman, and I want to pay tribute to you for this is actually Women's History Month, so you're somebody who ought to be celebrated as part of Women's History Month, and I'm always honored to be on your program with you. And like all other Americans, my heart is heavy this weekend after that shooting down there in Texas. I'm a granddaddy, and my youngest granddaughter graduated from high school this week, and I just don't know what it must be like for a parent to have to sit there and be told that your kid was in a classroom trying to learn their ABCs and how to be a good student and pay attention, and some crazy person walks in there with a gun and starts shooting them. It's just hard to imagine. So we've got something to do in America to try to get rid of these guns. We need to get some better gun control. And so my hearts are with those parents out there. My prayers are with them, and I'll do everything I can to try to get rid of this gun control problem that we have here. Now, let me be political on one point right here to start out with. Julianne mentioned the fact that there's a political race going on in Georgia. We have two people down there that I'm supporting. The governor's race, I'm, of course, supporting Stacey Abrams. I sent her some money already. Everybody else sent her a little $25. That's all they asked for, 25 or 15 or whatever you got. And I sent a little money already. But for those people who don't like the way the courts are talking about doing women's health issues, and when they're sitting, trying to stop women's right to choose what they want to do with their own bodies, if you elect Stacey Abrams governor of Georgia, let me say this to the white women in Georgia. If any of them listening, you elect Stacey Abrams, she'll change Georgia for you. And you won't have to worry about your rights down there in Georgia, and she'll take care of all these other issues about all she needs is 10 or 15% of the white vote, and she's going to win. And they've got 10% of progressive women down there, educated women. So I want to say that to women. Now, I'm saying that about Georgia. That's true all over the country. It's true in Ohio. It's true in these other places where they have these closed races. If we can just get the women organized to stand up for their own rights, and if they can always remember, Julianne, if they can always remember that when they take away black voting rights in the morning, to take away white rights in the afternoon. They take away black voting rights in the morning. They take away women's right to choose at night. And so we stick together, we can win. But if the women allow themselves to be separated from us in the progressive cause. So I wanted to say that before I start talking about the African American Civil War Memorial, because all of the work that we did to try to get rid of slavery, to pass the 14th Amendment to the Constitution, which makes black citizens, and the 15th Amendment gives us voting rights, all of those things have been systematically taken over and destroyed by the courts down through the years. And the Supreme Court has recently knocked out a portion of the 65 Voting Rights Act that required a state to come in, like Georgia and Alabama, Mississippi, these places that are trying to take black people off the rolls, to get what they call a pre-clearance from the courts before they can implement those changes. And so this court now has become so conservative, said, well, those states don't have to do pre-clearance with us anymore. They're good states. They know what to do. They've been around a little while now. They have learned their lessons, and we don't have to watch over them. And then the states are arguing, well, we're not the only ones that are doing it. Now they're doing it in Ohio and in New Jersey in the north, and you're discriminating against us by making us do this pre-clearance thing. So the whole thing is caught up in a lot of confusion. And so when I talk about the African American Civil War Memorial and voting rights, that we got back in 1870 with the Voting Rights Act, the right to vote. Those rights are on ballot today down in Georgia and Ohio and Alabama and these other places, because these people are systematically, 100 years, 150 years later, systematically trying to take our voting rights away. So we have to stay on the battlefield, and that's why I like that music that you played before your show starts, Lyndia. You always get us warmed up. If I wasn't ready before I started, before you called me, I got ready in the few minutes you had us here warming up.
I enjoyed that too. That was good.
Yeah. I'm the grandson of a Baptist preacher, so I know how to tap my foot and say amen.
Yes, indeed.
Yeah, called
on the Lord.
Praise
Yes,
him, the rocks will cry out.
You got to call on the Lord. Yes, that was good.
Absolutely.
Now tell us about what you got for Memorial Day. Now we don't have much
this
time.
weekend, we celebrate Memorial. The official Memorial Day celebration is Monday. This Monday coming, but we always celebrate on Sunday. And one of the reasons why I celebrate Sunday is 10 o'clock in the morning, Sunday morning. I'm now we're gonna do our little program. I'm gonna be a little late for church. I already told the preacher that. Be a little late for church, but I'm going anyway after the celebration. But Sunday morning at 10 a.m., the group called themselves Buffalo Thunder. They've been coming with us every year now for the last 10 or 15 years. They bring 800 motorcycle riders. And they call themselves Buffalo Thunder because when they come off of that, they start out in Maryland, they come out Route 50, and when they turn on to New York Avenue, headed toward the African American Civil War Museum, it's 850, and they sound like thunder and lightning and everything. Mm-hmm. And when they get there, we just take over the whole plaza out there. And they are all, most of these guys are veterans who have served in the military. And some of them served in Vietnam. Some of them served in, of course, in the later wars, in Iraq and other places, but they come to pay their respects. And they come to the African American Civil War Memorial because we have 209,000 names of black people who served in the Union Army during the Civil War. Mm-hmm. These men, because they stood up and fought, made it possible for these young Buffalo Thunder people to be able to ride the streets today in freedom and in security and knowing full well that they can come and enjoy. And so they come to us every year. We have a full program there. And they bring us a little donation. Actually, it's a big donation, to be honest with you.
Amen.
It's a $2,500 donation they bring every year.
Yes.
So we're always there. They put their money where their mouth is.
Yes, indeed.
So I got to be there for them because they take up collection and they bring it with them. They don't have to be sitting there begging once they get to the memorial. They've already taken it up by the time they get there, and they bring us a check. Mm-hmm. And because they know we're under renovation. We got slowed down by COVID. And by this inflation, the prices have all gone up. But every time a door closes, the Lord also opens another window for you. We were able to get a lot of this COVID money to help pay for some of the overages that we have in our renovation. I thank God for that because I know that these things don't happen without God moving on it and making sure that the good work gets done somehow or another. And but we got the money. We're going to start renovations the 1st of July. It's going to take me about 4 months. But by the end of the year, you're going to see a great new renovation go on up there. You're going to see a new exhibit, and the public will be invited to come out and enjoy it with us.
Mm-hmm. All right. Well, I'm excited about it. You know I am. I always remind people I've served as the project director for the monument and the African American Civil War Memorial and have helped as much as I could with the museum, and I intend to always be there if Councilman Smith calls on me. I am so grateful.
Lyndia, I told you this before now, Lyndia. You always have us playing these opening ceremonies, so you're so good at it. And I've already told my board I'm bringing you on as a special assistant to help us put on this grand opening.
I love it.
I want you to be there yourself personally, and also bring your listening audience with you. So as we get closer to that date, we'll be able to announce it, and you're going to be working with us on this. You know everybody. You know all the people, the musicians. You know all of a lot of these professional entertainers. You know how to get people together. You're real good at that, and we won't ever forget you. We always love you for it, and we always try to find a place for you.
All right. Well, thank you so much, Dr. Smith. I'm excited even more now. So thank you, and happy Memorial Day. I'm going to try to see if I can stop by there Sunday morning on my way to church, too.
All right. Look forward to seeing you, sister.
Happy Memorial Day to everyone. All right. You're listening to the Lyndia Grant Show. I got a couple of announcements now. I want to just ask you to like us on Facebook. And when you do, click subscribe and then follow us on Facebook and Twitter. Pick up the Washington Informer newspaper this week. My column is about imagination. You don't want to miss that. I have a special announcement that friend Bill Washington, who sent me an email, asked the Washington Performing Arts Gospel Choirs have inspired audiences with their joyous and exhilarating performances for 30 years. These ensembles will perform, they will close Washington Performing Arts 2022 season and with a first ever concert at the Center for Performing Arts at Prince George's Community College in Largo, Maryland. That's going to be on Saturday, June the 11th at 8 p.m. There's general admission tickets for $35, and you can go to WashingtonPerformingArts.org for more details and to get your ticket, or you can call the box office at 202-785-9727. Next Friday begins our 12th anniversary month. We're so excited. We have a special guest. We've been on the show for 12 years. We're going to have attorney Ivan Bates from Baltimore and retired chief judge of Baltimore Circuit Court, Wanda Hurd. They're going to talk to us about how Attorney Bates brought down a crooked police ring. Then on June the 10th, Reverend Dr. Susie Owens, co-pastor of Greater Mount Calvary Baptist Church, is going to be our guest. Worship at the All Nations Baptist Church, located at 2001 North Capitol Street. Every Sunday we're open. Our pastor is the Reverend Dr. James Coleman. He's beginning this Sunday a new preaching series entitled, Do You Really Want to Change? We invite you all to come out and join us. That just about does it for this week. I have been happy to be on Radio 1 for 12 years. And if you have that commercial, we can go ahead and play it before I do my close.
With the African American Civil War Museum in Washington, D.C., located at 1925 Vermont Avenue Northwest on the Green Line. Did you know that a recent study found that children who visit museums do better in school and in life than children who do not? So parents, teachers, and preachers, let's get moving. I promise you, if you bring your children to the African American Civil War Museum, they will be inspired by the images that they see. They will be impressed by our living history reenactors who are always available, and they will be involved in our scavenger hunt that takes them throughout our exhibit. That's the African American Civil War Museum, 1925 Vermont Avenue. Our hours are 10 to 6:30 on weekdays, 12 to 4 on Saturdays and Sundays. See it. Be inspired.
All right, that does it for our show. Words, thoughts, and deeds have a boomerang effect, so be careful what you send out. Scripture says, my people perish for the lack of knowledge. So think on these things. From the Lyndia Grant Show, I'm your host, Lyndia Grant. Until next week, good day.
Thank you for listening to the Lyndia Grant Show. Think on these things with your host, Lyndia Grant.